Every day, 4 people are trafficked into the UK and exploited for sex, manual labour, or forced into a life of crime, and that number is rising.
I was brought here, forced, tortured. I worked as an electrician for that Roma palace.
That's Joe, not his real name. He's 53 and Romanian. Joe agreed to talk to me through an interpreter.
I was forced to come. I never thought of coming to England. These people, as I found out after, were people and children trafficking. They were robbing, they were breaking houses and stealing from houses in UK and trafficking.
Confecționa documente de identitate false, pașapoarte, permise de conducere.
They were making fake documents, fake passports, IDs and driving licenses.
Before being trafficked to the UK, Joe was held captive in the Telemon county in Romania and forced to help build what he described as a Roma gypsy palace with 37 rooms. Human trafficking consultant Robin Briley says he's seen these gypsy palaces for himself.
I personally have been to Slovakia and have seen a town where the houses there are absolute mansions. Everybody in that particular town was linked to criminality. They've all got 4x4s, Mercedes, Porsches on the driveway with UK plates, and we were told by local officials that inside the houses there's marble, there's gold door handles, lots of gold. Another Operation Golf, which was a Metropolitan Police operation investigation into Romanian trafficking, and that's the same. They saw that a lot of the money had gone back out of the UK, back to Romania, to buy very, very large houses.
Joe was driven to the UK in a people carrier car with 7 other trafficked victims and forced into a life of crime.
In UK, I was forced to steal, to beg. I bought a van in UK, and we were collecting washing machines, fridges, different. Everything was illegal, and everything was just a coverage.
Human trafficking is big business, worth £22 billion a year to criminals. The Foreign Secretary, William Hague, says it poses as big a threat to the UK as terrorism and climate change. Slavery is now more prolific than it was 2 centuries ago.
In terms of the proceeds from the criminality, there's huge amounts of money to be made, far more money to be made through crime than there is actual labour and sexual exploitation itself.
The Interdepartmental Ministerial Group on Human Trafficking says there were 946 victims last year, compared with 710 in 2010. But that's a fraction of the total. In 2011, there were 2,077 potential victims of human trafficking. Modern-day slavery is more organised, more sophisticated and more profitable.
They succeeded in making money over 300 million euros and 300 kilos of gold and coins, golden coins. They're specific golden coins, gypsy golden coins. My modelle are big coins used for necklaces for gypsy women. Richer the gypsy is, bigger these necklaces. They had fake Romanian and English driving licenses. They were trafficking. The Romanian driving licenses were sold to gypsies who were here in the UK. 700-800 euros per each.
Confecționau pașapoarte false, ID card.
They were making fake passports, driving licenses, and other documents, different certificates, sentences, rent. Mine were okay, but they were kept by the gypsies.
The official journal of the European Union says victims of trafficking should be protected from prosecution or punishment for criminal activities. Joe's experience with the police in Britain tells a different story. Joe was arrested in the UK on suspicion of stealing scrap metal and was told by officers to learn English when he asked for help in Romanian.
I would advise police to take into account
Orice plângere a persoanelor
each claim from people
din Europa. Eu am
from Europe.
făcut nenumărate raporturi, am scris.
I had many claims.
Dar în limba
I
română
wrote in Romanian.
am fost alungat în secția de poliție pentru faptul că n-am știut să vorbesc engleză, am fost lovit.
I was put out from the police station and I was hit in a police station
ca lui să-i vorbesc în limba engleză.
because
Că nu știu să-mi dea interpret. Și mi-a spus
I was
să mă
told
duc
to
cu
speak
interpret.
in English and I asked for an interpreter and they said come back with an interpreter.
La Tottenham, înainte de evadare,
In Tottenham,
am fost de 3 ori.
before my
Am fost
escape,
scos afară din secția de poliție.
I went 3 times and I was
Apoi
put
am-
out
Am scris
of the
prin
police
poștă,
station
dar în
and
limba
I
română,
wrote,
3 scrisori.
I sent 3 letters by post, but in Romanian.
Nu m-a luat nimeni în considerație.
Nobody took into account.
Pe 23 martie,
On the 23rd of March,
când am evadat, mi-am pus mâna
When I
pe
evaded,
documente în totalitate, pe
I
portofel,
got my documents, my wallet,
tot ce mi-aparținea.
everything that
Și
belonged to
actele
me,
de la 2 mașini care erau înregistrate pe numele meu, dar eu n-am
and the
avut niciodată
documents of
mașini
2 cars
în UK.
that were registered on my name, but didn't have anything to do with that.
M-am dus la o secție de poliție de
I went to a
Green,
police station in Wood Green,
2 ore m-am rugat, am insistat.
and for 2 hours, I asked, I
pentru
insisted
ajutat
on being helped,
și n-am fost
and
ajutat
I wasn't
niciodată.
helped.
Un ofițer
at
de
all.
poliție
A police officer
mi-a luat cartea de identitate
took my ID
și mi-a aruncat-o pe jos
and
și
threw
mi-a
it
spus
on the floor
că acel
and told me
obiect pentru el este radic.
that object to him was rubbish.
Am țipat, am urlat
I yelled
timp de 2 ore și atunci s-a alarmat
for 2
cetățenii.
hours, and then the citizens
Un domn
got
bine
alarmed.
îmbrăcat
and a well-dressed
s-a dus la ofițerul de serviciu
man
care era
went to
o
the duty
femeie,
officer,
de altfel o femeie
a woman,
extraordinară.
an extraordinary woman.
A venit la mine, m-a întrebat,
She came to me, she asked me,
mi-a spus să-mi aduc o coală de hârtie și un pix.
and I asked her to bring me a piece of paper,
Și pe aceea hârtie
And
a
a pen?
scris SOS.
and on the paper I wrote,
SOS, help.
SOS.
I asked Joe if he could change one decision, what it would have been.
My life was destroyed
I-am cunoscut pe acei
from the moment I met these people. I haven't seen my family, my brothers, my friends, my sisters.
nu mai mi-am văzut nimic.
It's a huge tragedy. I continuously suffer, and until I die, I'll probably suffer. I can't walk for more than 100, 150 meters. My back hurts a lot, my head as well. But what's worse, my soul hurts.
În cuvinte, ceea
It's
ce
hard to
simt,
say in words what I feel.
simt
Everything is
inutil.
destroyed. I feel useless. My life is destroyed.
Să nu mai
Be
sufăr.
help
NHS,
not to
persoane
suffer,
cu bani, să mă ajute.
to be helped by
Să nu mai
NHS
sufăr.
and some wealthy people to help me.
Repet, mă doare
Not to
foarte
suffer.
tare capul, amețesc,
I repeat, I have
mă doare spatele, mă doare
awful
picioarele.
headaches.
Nu pot să
My
merg
legs hurt.
mai mult de
I
50
can't walk.
de metri. Nu pot să ies afară, mă
I can't go
urinez
to
pe
the
mine.
toilet. I urinate on myself.
E oribil ceea ce spun, dar
It's horrible what I say now.
îmi pare.
I'm very sorry.
Vă mulțumesc.
2 years ago, the Anti-Slavery Act became law after being introduced in Parliament as a private member's bill. The Act defines modern-day slavery as child trafficking, forced labour, domestic servitude and trafficking for sexual exploitation. Now another MP, Michael Connaughey, is presenting a bill to eradicate slavery and force every company in the United Kingdom to disclose its efforts made to remove slavery from its supply chain.
What we eat, what we wear, where it comes from, who's making it, who down the line has been made to make it for the people who are the contractors who supply the goods. They really are now, I think the Joseph Rowntree Trust are about to come out with another report in about a month, focused entirely on the whole kind of labour exploitation. And what people are beginning to realise is that within the UK, things we take for granted, chickens, berries that you eat in shops, asparagus from Peru, somewhere along the line there is somebody living in unbelievable conditions that you would never expect in a modern day. You know, as somebody said, there are more people now being used as human slaves than ever happened when Wilberforce was fighting against the slave trade to America. And it's clear every time we hear something, the last 2 days in the conference, more and more examples of people who are being exploited in the most amazing ways. Okay, everyone knows about sex and sex trafficking, and somewhere along the line there's the question about clients who want to do this and how it's been done. But I think people have got to realise that's a minor point. It's all about, it's Dickens all over again. You know, it's all about bringing people to steal, to pickpocket, to basically work for nothing, practically, living in terrible conditions, always with the threat that you'll never get back home or you'll never get your passport back. And it's just here, it's with us, and I just think we can't be blind to it anymore. And when I talk to people about what's happening in other countries, everyone sympathises. The projects that they raise money for and send from America and send from here, and yes, that's right, there are terrible things happening out in the world, but they're happening because British firms are involved in it. They're also happening here. Who asked Morrison's or Sainsbury's or Asda or Tesco? Who brought that here? How did you get it here? Did you check it out? And if we start doing that, I was talking earlier to people and I was saying, remember the campaigns against apartheid, sticking skull and crossbones on things contaminated by apartheid. I just think we have to say to companies, clean up your act. Are we going to go around sticking stickers on saying contaminated by slavery? Because that's what's happening in this country. And again it gets exposed, but think, yeah, that's that company, but it's not everywhere. It's everywhere. It's really everywhere. And it's only politics can change that. My bill might create a debate, but what we need is a government bill. What we need is a government to get serious about this. I think they play it, unfortunately, for immigration. Somehow if we can stop it, we can get rid of people. But what we really need to do is say, you'll get rid of, it's not the people you get rid of that will be the problem. It's the fact that it's happening here. It's the fact that it's built into our system of retail. It's cheap because we exploit people. And right down at the bottom of it, some of these exploitations are back to that image that people got during the Beijing Olympics, a little boy sitting sewing leather balls. No, that's still going on in different ways.
Today is Anti-Slavery Day to raise awareness of modern slavery and help eradicate it. MP Michael Connaughton hopes his bill will go some way into just doing that.
Now, they might not pick up my bill, but they have to pick up something, because I think people are getting angry. Barack Obama is now on the stump talking about the modern day slavery, the scourge of modern day slavery. And I think companies in the media now realise they can expose it. There's a good story here for people to hear. And if governments don't pay attention, they'll be the ones in firing line. They'll be the ones in the stories. It's not just the companies. Why didn't you do something about this? And that's the question for the Prime Minister and the government and any future government. Why didn't you do something about it? Here's your chance. Do a little. Let my bill go through. But if you can't, find another bill. Find another way of doing it. I don't want to wear a badge. I want to see progress. That's what it's all about.
If the bill is successful, every company in the UK making more than £100 million a year will by law have to say how their goods made it from the field to the shelves or from the farm to the food counter. They will have to prove any goods offered for sale were produced without the use of human trafficking, forced labour and the worst forms of child labour. But for Joe, his life was destroyed by traffickers. It's too late. He just wants his story to now serve as a warning for others.